Last night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it.
Stephen A. Smith was completely blindsided when his longtime co-host Molly Kerim suddenly walked away from ESPN's First Take after more than a decade on the show. What began as a normal Monday morning at ESPN's Bristol headquarters on September 15, 2025, quickly turned into one of the most shocking exits in sports media history. Molly had just finished another episode, moderating debates between Stephen A. and other analysts with her usual confidence and professionalism. But behind her calm demeanor, she was frustrated with stalled contract talks, low renewal offers, and a lack of appreciation from executives. After wrapping up the show, she packed her things and unknowingly walked out of the studio for the last time. That night, Sports Business Journal's Austin Carr broke the story that Molly would be leaving ESPN at the end of the year due to disagreements about her future with the network. However, when Molly woke up the next morning to see her private negotiations made public, she decided to take control of her own story. At 9 a.m., she posted on Instagram announcing that she was leaving ESPN and First Take effective immediately, thanking fans and her team for an incredible 10 years. The post went viral within hours, with #Mollykerim trending across social media as fans and colleagues tried to understand what happened. The biggest surprise came later that day when First Take went live, and Stephen A. Smith appeared alone, visibly shaken, delivering the unexpected news of Molly's sudden departure, leaving viewers stunned and marking the end of an era for one of ESPN's most popular shows.
Longtime host for ESPN's First Take, my day job, where she has been the last 10 years. Last night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it is an understatement.
The news hit like a shockwave. This wasn't a planned exit or a friendly, mutual decision. Molly Kerim had essentially walked away from one of the most prestigious hosting jobs in sports media in a moment of pure frustration, quitting First Take abruptly and leaving everyone, from fans to colleagues, completely stunned.
I have an idea? Of course I do. Am I going to share it with you? No. Because again, that's her story to tell.
Stephen A. Smith's response to Molly Kerim's sudden exit was careful and respectful. He admitted he had an idea of what happened but said it wasn't his place to share, though his tone revealed his shock and frustration. After working with Molly for a decade, even he was blindsided by how abruptly she left. ESPN executives were equally caught off guard, as they had planned to announce her departure later in the year, not in the middle of football season when First Take ratings were at their peak. Her sudden exit left a huge gap in ESPN's flagship show with no immediate replacement. Ironically, the first episode without her saw a 15% spike in ratings to 750,000 viewers, driven more by curiosity about the drama than the show's sports debates. Social media went wild, with #Mollykerim racking up millions of impressions as fans demanded answers. Behind the scenes, however, this wasn't an overnight decision. It had been building for months. Contract talks began in January 2025. But what should have been a routine renewal turned into a tense standoff. Despite being the key figure who helped turn First Take into ESPN's highest-rated morning show, with viewership up 45% from 2015 to 2024 and over $100 million in annual ad revenue, Molly was offered what many saw as a deeply unfair deal. While she earned around $500,000 a year, her co-host Stephen A. Smith made about $20 million, a staggering 40-to-1 pay gap. ESPN's final offer proposed a 4-year deal starting at $700,000 to $850,000, with small annual raises and bonuses, but also required her to spend 20% of her time on side projects like ESPN Plus documentaries and women's sports panels, essentially spreading her thin while keeping her pay low. Many insiders described the offer as disrespectful, suggesting ESPN viewed her as replaceable despite her major contributions. To make matters worse, the same day her exit became public, ESPN announced a huge new deal for NBA reporter Malika Andrews, fueling speculation that the network had already been planning to move on without her. For Molly, the leaked report exposing her contract talks was the final straw. After months of feeling undervalued and disrespected, she decided she was done, walking away from ESPN and First Take immediately and on her own terms.
Molly, put out a statement because there was a report on it, so it kind of got out of our respective controls once that
ESPN's president of content, Burke Magnus, tried to explain the situation, but his words sounded more like damage control than clarity. In an interview with The Athletic he admitted that the Sports Business Journal leak had forced their hand, saying negotiations with Molly Kerim weren't fully aligned on her future roles beyond First Take but that ESPN still wanted her to stay in some capacity. He called her departure a clean break, which, in corporate terms, really meant the network had mishandled the situation and was now scrambling to contain the fallout. ESPN had underestimated Molly, assuming she'd eventually accept their low offer and restrictive conditions, but her decisive exit proved them wrong. What followed revealed even deeper issues inside ESPN. Just 5 days after her sudden departure, former ESPN host and popular podcaster Marcellus Wiley released a YouTube episode that exploded online, racking up over 1.3 million views and completely reshaping the narrative. Wiley argued that Molly hadn't just quit, she had orchestrated one of the boldest power moves in sports television history. His theory suggested that she was tired of being overshadowed and boxed in by Stephen A. Smith's growing dominance at ESPN, and her sudden, public exit was a deliberate move to reclaim control and make a statement that the network, and the industry, could no longer ignore.
Stephen A. Smith as well, because remember, he's an executive producer on that show, and as he will always remind you, that's his show.
Here's where the story gets really interesting, revealing the complicated power dynamics at ESPN centered around Stephen A. Smith. It's not just about being co-hosts. Smith has gained so much control that he basically shapes the careers of everyone around him. His current deal with ESPN pays him $15 million over 5 years, plus another $12 million from SiriusXM, adding up to about $40 million a year. But with that kind of money, he holds a lot of power, not only as an on-air talent but also as an executive producer, meaning he helps decide who gets hired or fired and influences how much others get paid.
Just talked about that recently, about how Stephen A. Smith has that pull. Stephen A. Smith even talked about that when he checked Cam Newton recently, talking about, hey, I've hooked a lot of guys up with money.
WY pointed out that Stephen A. Smith is known for helping negotiate better deals for people like Kendrick Perkins, Dan Orlovsky, and Ryan Clark. But the downside of his power is that if he doesn't support you, you're out of luck.
You can get the money if I sign off on it, or you can get what you want if I sign off on it. But the thing is,
the implications of WY's theory are staggering. If he's right, Molly Kerim wasn't just negotiating with ESPN executives, she essentially needed approval from her co-host Stephen A. Smith for any significant career advancement. Imagine being in a position where, despite helping build a show into a massive success, your future depends on whether the person beside you decides you deserve it. This theory is supported by patterns seen with other First Take personalities. Max Kellerman, pushed out in 2023, never had Stephen A.'s support, and Shannon Sharpe, who left for Fox Sports 1, also faced issues with ESPN's power dynamics. It suggests the network has allowed one individual to accumulate too much control. The most damning evidence is the timing of Molly's exit, revealing the complex and fraught relationship between her and Stephen A. Her bold, smart move reflects someone who has learned how the sports media industry operates and is determined never to be undervalued again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, keep the adventure going by clicking on one of the suggested videos on your screen for more amazing content.